series queue with blocking. So before that, we do know what is series queue. We already know that what is queue. Now we are going to see series queues. Series means one by one. We had if a customer enters into a thing, have to work with several servers, at least two servers. The system consists of at least two servers. The customer has to get service from the first customers and the second customer also. In the previous case of the second model, in the queuing model, second or fourth model, we have multiple server queue. That means the service is same thing, but different servers can serve. So a customer can get either from any server, but here it is not the case. Series queue means a customer has to get the service from each of the servers. So this is called series queues. Now we can divide these series queues into two types according to the queue. According to the queue. So first thing is series queue with blocking. That without blocking, first thing. Second one we will see what is series queue with blocking. So series queue without blocking means there are several servers, that is 1 2 3 name the servers 1 2 3 and etc. A customer is entering into the system, so he will get service from the first server, and if he finished the service from the first server, he pass on to the second server, and so on he will go. If then second customer will enter into the first server to get service. Now if a third customer is coming, means he will wait for getting service from the server 1, from the first server. So in series queue without blocking, there is a chance to form a queue. Listen carefully. In series queue without blocking means there is a chance to form a queue for each server. Server 1 can form a infinite queue, as well as each server, for each servers their customers can form an infinite queue. This is called series queue without blocking. Then next we pass on to the series queue with blocking. With blocking means there is no possible to form a queue. There is no queue to be formed. So if a customer enters into the system, he should get service from the first server, and if he finished his servicing, then he had to pass on to the second server. If a second customer is entering into the system, means he has to get service from the first server, and he have to pass on to the second service if and only if the second server is free, if and only is that there is no customer in the second server. Otherwise you have to wait until the service is completed in the second one. Otherwise you have to wait in the server 1, and if a new customer comes here, he cannot able to form a queue in the first server, therefore you have to left the system. Once again I am telling this, series queue with blocking means there is no chance to form a queue at any server. Therefore if a customer is entering into the system, he should get service from the first one, and if it is finished, if he pass on to the second server. If first server is not free, no customer is allowed to enter into the system. He should leave the system. And if first customer gets service from the first one, first server finish this work, means if and only if the second server is free, means the customer pass on to the second server. Otherwise you have to wait at the first server itself. This for queue is called series queue with blocking. Hope you can understand the system. Then let us pass on to the states of these servers, states of this queuing system with blockings. Let me consider the status M and N. M means the state at the first server, and N means state at the second server. Let me tell in this, explain this with two server systems, S1 and S2. So our first state may be 0 0. 0 0 means the no customer in the first system, as well as there is no customer in the second server. there is no customer in the first server as well as there is no customer in the second server. This is noted as no customers in S1 and S2. Then second possibility is 1 comma 0. This means that there is a one customer in server 1 and there is no customer in server 2. And we can have another possible 0 comma 1. This means there is no customer in server 1 and one customer in server 2. Then another possible is 1 comma 1. There is both the servers have a customer. The one customer is S1 in S1 and one customer in the second server S2. Then the different case, this is what series queue with blocking. So another possible and the least possible is B comma 1. B stands for block. So here one customer is in S2. Since the second coordinate is 1, there is a one customer in S2 and first coordinate is denoted as B, means a customer in S1 but he finished his work. That is, a customer is S1 is finished but waiting at S1. Since S2 is not free, he cannot enter into the second server. Therefore, though he is finished his service, he is waiting at S1. This state is called as B comma 1. So in two servers in series queue with blocking, we have these 5 states. There is no customer in both the servers and one customer in the first server or one customer in the second server, or both the servers have customers, and B comma 1 is the one of the possibilities. So with these things we are going to define something. Let me see. So here just a pictorial representation of these states. Our states are 0 0, 1 0, 0 1 and 1 1 and B1. These are the 5 states in the 2 server series queue with blocking. So let me take the arrival as lambda as we know earlier, and mu1 as the service rate at the first customer and mu2 is the service rate at the second customer. So these 5 are the possible states of our system, and lambda stands for the arrival rate and mu1 stands for the service rate at the first customer and mu2 stands for the service rate at the second customer. So here the direction are noted. This means if these two are directed, means they are from 0 0 to 1 comma 0. If there is a possible to move here, means it is denoted by this direction. So let me explain this one. So this is one of our possible. Both the servers has no customers. Then if a customer enters into the system, means our first server becomes busy. That is, one customer is in the first server S1. For there is an arrival denotes by lambda. For our server 1, first customer is in server 1. So next thing, if the first customer or first server finish this work, means this customer has to go to the second server. Therefore the direction is given by this one. Now this customer finished his service at the server 1 and he passed on to the second one. Therefore now the state becomes 0 comma 1. There is no customer in the first server and the has one customer in the second server. Since first customer finished his work, this is denoted by mu1, that is the service rate of first server. Then from here, if the case is 0 comma 1, that is no customer in first server and one customer is in second server, then another possibility, then from here, this state we can pass on to the this state, that is a new customer is arriving at the first server. Therefore the state becomes 1 comma 1. So from here, if a new customer arrives, then a state becomes 1 comma 1. Then from here, what are the possibilities for the next state, means either for here or here. Two possibilities are there. We explain one by one. So from 1 comma 1, if the second server finished this service means our state becomes 1 comma 0. Now second server finished this service, therefore that customers leave the system. Still the first customer is giving service to the customer. Therefore since second customer finished his service, it is the service rate mu2. So from this state to this state is possible with the service rate mu2. One another possible is from here we can pass on to this state also. What is meant by this one means the second customer doesn't finish this service, so still there is a customer in the second server. He's continuous getting service, but the first customer finished his first server finished this service. So this customer cannot enter into the second server since it is busy and there is no possible to form a queue. Therefore, after finishing his service in the server 1, he is still waiting at the server 1 for getting service from the second server. I think you are able to understand this one. So this explains the states and with the possibilities. So from here b comma 1, which state is another possible means we can pass on to 0 comma 1. This means the blocking the customer who is waiting at the server 1 can pass on to the second server only the second server finish his service. Therefore, if this customer finish the service at the second one, that is mu2 service rate, he leaves the system. Then the first customer, the blocked customer, can enter into the second server. Therefore, b comma 1 state becomes 0 comma 1 state. Then 0 comma 1. If the second customer, the second server also finished his state service, then the state becomes 0 comma 0. So these are all the possible things with our series queue with blocking. Thank you.